Oh, sometimes it's good just to come on here and talk sports and forget about the real world, right? Just for a few hours, talk about a perfect scenario in a league where everything runs smoothly, that never has any hiccups. We're talking Canadian Football League. Week 11 kicks off tonight. Arash, the Ottawa Red Blacks, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The fans don't care. They've sold out another game in Winnipeg. But what happens on the field tonight?
It is a very good question. I look at both of these teams right now, and I'm saying to myself, all right, short week for both of these teams, Maz, right? What team overcomes that with the fatigue and lack of practice and adjustments, all of those things?
The younger
And I
one.
also look at both of these teams and I say to myself, man, these are two secondaries in absolute disarray coming into this game. And this is where I really think, all these things start to matter. This late in the season, it's the dog days. It's not quite Labor Day where people get a little bit of a jolt. Winnipeg's defensive backfield has been an absolute disaster. Ottawa's continues to have this kind of injury bug coming along. Like Gavin Heslop returns for the first time since, I think, week 4, something like that. So, I think it's one of those games for two teams that are in, and I don't want to say Ottawa's in shambles, but like for a team that just hasn't been able to put it together, I think there's just so many question marks for both teams, especially, in their secondaries.
Earlier in the season, we were looking at Ottawa going...
Nice shirt, Sharky, by the way. Nice color.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it showing up as green or blue to you?
I don't know, but whatever color it is looks eerily similar to something I'm wearing. So I just think you have good taste in your...
Did you guys coordinate this before the show? Or
we talk every morning.
You got a group text going that I'm not part of? Doesn't matter. Apparently there's a few of those going around I'm not part of on the show right now. I'm not offended. I got ice maker problems.
Doesn't bother you at all.
Text I'm not a part of. That doesn't bother me at all. I got ice maker problems I can't deal with.
Hey, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about Ottawa. They were 1-6, 1-7. Is this the end of Bob Dice? What happens? How do they fix this team? They have turned it around a little bit. At least they got a couple of W's in the thing. Have they taken the next step, or is this just a mirage?
I don't know, Sharky. Look, a couple of things. One, Drew Brown was outstanding last week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's acknowledge that, right?
Yep.
A guy who he had as many incompletions as he had touchdown passes. 5 and 5.
That's a good stat.
Throwing for 373. So when you go 26 of 31 for 373, 5 tuds and no picks, you
better win.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Here's what I liked about Ottawa for, I think, the first time we saw all season. They actually ran the football. They went to Williams' standback. 17 carries, I think the number was. I think he was around 85 yards, something like that. And it wasn't like he just took off on a crazy one. He averaged 5 yards a carry. This is what Ottawa needs to do, and they've been allergic to the ground game this season. And I get it. Their offense is predicated on the 5 receiver set. There's 2 or 3 teams in the league that go about it that way. Toronto is one of them. But for Ottawa to really kind of establish themselves in an offense, there needs to be a commitment to the ground game. Offensive line play across, not just the league, across pro football has been terrible. And so you look at a team that before quarterback injury had success, Montreal, they're never in 5 receiver sets. Hamilton, they're never in 5 receiver sets. Toronto, Ottawa, Winnipeg, they are. Look at the teams that are struggling right now on the offensive side of the football. The run game has made a renaissance in the Canadian Football League. It baffles me why the Bombers don't run the football more with Oliveira back there. But to me, if Ottawa's going to creep back into this thing, Stanback's got to be a big part of this. Now we'll see if he is.
Arash, after we had you on Tuesday, some of the comments online is I was a Bomber apologist with you to be like, oh, you're feeling bad because the Bombers.
Good.
Oh.
Good.
Well, but we had Suter on. He still thinks because, like you had said, Brady Oliveira, it's not the Brady Oliveira show and they're locking it down. He still thinks that he's hurt. Yes, he's healthy enough to play, but he's not what he was before that shoulder injury. And that's the hard part about watching this Bomber football team is to be like, they're kind of giving up on the run. And that's something that they don't usually do. Forget the fourth quarter if they get a lead. Even then, but even establishing that run game, it's not as consistent as it was. And I agree with you. I think that's what's hampering them as well. And they're forced into the pass.
Yes. Let me just stop you.
Okay.
Let's stop dancing around what's going on in Winnipeg right now. Okay?
Uh-oh.
Let's just address the issue head on. Offensive coordinator seems to be getting outcoached. Receivers aren't good enough. Their top two receivers from last season are playing in other cities. Dylan Mitchell, for reasons who knows why, just got into the lineup last week after getting a bunch of cash in the offseason in a signing bonus. Like, you just wonder, like, okay, we can talk about Oliveira, we can talk about this, we can talk about that, but, like, these are the issues facing this team right now. And I'll tell you what else, guys. For the last 4, 5, 6 years, you talk to people in that Winnipeg locker room, and players would come out and say, I would lay it all on the line for Mike O'Shea. I would do anything for Mike O'Shea. He's a foxhole guy, etc. When's the last time any of that has come out of the Winnipeg locker room? I haven't heard that in a while.
No.
Things aren't right there on a lot of different levels. And we can get really granular and talk about how many carries Oliveira is getting. There are real problems in Winnipeg. They have overvalued veterans long in the tooth. There is this bizarre loyalty that O'Shea continues to have. Personally, I think he's very close, if not already, to have lost the locker room, and they just continue to lose football games. And here we are. This is the body of work. And if we're in a business of winning games, if we're in a business of you are what your record says you are, it has not been a favorable last 4 or 5 weeks in Winnipeg. And I don't know and see how it gets better, to be quite honest with you.
It's interesting you say that because I have the same impression of Winnipeg, that they're not all on the same page. They're a team, but they're not playing like a team. They're not playing as a group. It seems like they don't get along. You just watch them on the field. They don't look like they're interested in what each other's doing. That could be age, because I think they are the oldest team in the league, are they not?
Yeah, like Sharky, I think a lot of us are guessing when it comes to that part of it, but I think this is that they had a lot of success for a long time, right? And everybody gets along. And then and I don't mean to sound like a broken record here. I really don't. But when you lose a bunch of Grey Cups in a row that you led at the half, a lot of guys start questioning why and how that happened. And that just it might go away after the first one. It lingers after the second. And then after the third, you start questioning things. And when people somebody asked me once, what does the air quote distraction in the locker room actually mean? It means that after practice, after meetings, before meetings, whatever you want to say, are guys talking about how we're going to win, or are guys talking about what the issues are and what's bothering them and the airing of grievances? And I'm just getting the sense there's a lot of airing of grievances going on, especially with how Winnipeg, I get it. They've been to 5 Grey Cups. I get it. But when you lose 3,
Mm-hmm.
there are lingering wounds there that continue, and then on and on. Everything I said at the beginning of the topic of the Bombers. I just don't see it getting significantly better there.
As a Saskatchewan fan, I love the smell to the east of rotting old things over there. Like that's
Like cry
just
you
fine.
a bucket of tears, huh?
Yeah,
Sparky?
yeah,
Right?
that's something I can live with every day. Let that crap go away. Yeah.
Well, obviously, there's a certain group of people that don't care, Bomber fans, because they sold out another game. And when I saw the graphic go up on social media the other day, I'm like, there's really nothing going on in Winnipeg to be like, you're going to watch the Ottawa Red Blacks play the Bombers. And I'm like, good on you. Because you know what? They easily could be like, you guys aren't playing great. Ottawa's not a great draw. Maybe we'll stay away. So kudos to them, because there's not enough of that in the CFL. So as far as if the team's faltering, the fan base isn't, the loyalty, and a little jealous, because we always talk in Rider Nation, we're the best fans in the CFL. Well, the best fans are selling out stadiums on a Thursday night with a crappy team coming to town.
And this is where it actually makes a difference tonight on the field. Ottawa runs. I asked around today, because this is what the kind of eyeball test shows. We don't have advanced stats. I asked around to some coaches and people who like monitor this stuff, who have more time to do these things than we do. Anyway, where I'm going with this is Ottawa runs a lot of no huddle, the most no huddle of any team in the league. Well, that's a problem when you're going into a sold out hostile environment for a fan base that really needs a win. So I just think that tonight, that actually plays a massive home field advantage for the Bombers, unless they fall behind.
It's 14-0 early.
All right. And honestly, I think that there's this kind of like adage in sport that winning hides a lot of things. The John Madden line, winning's the best deodorant. Here's the other thing: in a gate-driven league like the CFL, sellouts hide a lot of things. Money hides a lot of things. There should be some things here. There are some, I don't want to call them 5-alarm bell fires, but little brush fires here are starting to spread, and Wade Miller is not addressing them. And maybe the president of the football team there in Winnipeg is just saying, well, we got to sell out this week. We got to sell out for the Banjo Bowl.
What's
It's going
the
to make,
worry?
what, 11 in a row?
Yeah,
Well, it's great.
What do we
keep
care?
getting the Grey Cups. What's the problem? Right?
Everything's good. Yeah.
I want to ask you about this. Like, I'm sure going to get it. God, can you talk about Winnipeg more? All right, let's move on. I want to ask the question. Toronto, Edmonton, and we chatted about this on Tuesday. Ryan Dinwiddie, said, speaking of rosters that get pillaged every year because of free agency and success and all of that, if the Argos go into Edmonton and don't win tomorrow night, is there any reason to worry about Ryan Dinwiddie head coach wise? To me, there shouldn't be. He's only given you success, but you are what your record says you are. Can any of this be pinned on him if they lose tomorrow?
The immediate answer is no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's why. One, he doesn't have a quarterback. He hasn't had a quarterback since the fourth quarter of the East Final last year. Let's be real.
Agreed.
Without a quarterback, they went and won the Grey Cup as an underdog. They went and won the Grey Cup trailing at the half. 2, they have not had a player personnel department in I don't know how long. Their general manager, by title, is somebody who is out there who is a community ambassador. They had a player personnel director, Vince Magri, who 15 months ago got an amazing opportunity with the Buffalo Bills, was never replaced. If we're being real, if we're being honest, it's just all caught up to them at this point. when you don't have a quarterback, when you don't have somebody getting you players, when you don't have somebody finding you talent, when you don't have somebody digging into the weeds of Canadians, etc., and on and on and on it goes, when you don't have a general manager who every day is not finger on the pulse of what's important for the overall talent on the football team, this is what's going to happen. The Toronto Argonauts roster, I don't care who's coaching it, they're not winning anything. So to me, this is all catching up. Like, there's a major come to Jesus that's going to be required for that franchise this off season, and it's going to need a total rehaul. The coach isn't the problem; it's what's happening in the front office that's going to need a lot of reshaping. And ultimately, Maz, to bring your question full circle, if the Argos lose to Edmonton, and who knows what's going to happen, if the Argos lose to Edmonton, honestly, the most irresponsible thing the franchise could do is activate Chad Kelly moving forward. Sit him the rest of the season, make sure he's fully healthy. If it means he's practicing the last 2-3 weeks of the year, fine. But make sure he's 100% coming off a catastrophic injury, because what's the point right now with this team? Your second highest paid player smashed his shoulder driving a scooter to practice. You're not even going to protect your quarterback at this point. So that to me is the story in Toronto.
The whole season's wrapped up in a scooter accident. That's basically
if you want, the pièce de résistance to the whole thing, Sharky, totally.
So speaking of quarterbacks, yesterday McLeod Bethel Thompson goes on the 6th game for Montreal, and they bring in Cameron Dukes. And some are like, is Bethel Thompson hurt? Is it like, listen, you did us a favor, we'll do you a favor, we'll pay you, you ride off into the sunset, we got to salvage just till Davis Alexander comes back. Like, what's really going on there?
I don't know, but the combination of Caleb Evans, McLeod Bethel Thompson, and Cameron Dukes.
That's a
when does
QB
Arash
room, if you ask me.
When does Arash Madani go under center?
Yeah, Sharky, it's between you and me. Who's got the nicer green golf shirt?
I can't even throw a fit. Yeah, like I'm no good. Yeah.
No.
And like, this is why, like, I find this time of year hilarious. Just like early May's hilarious when it comes to over-unders on the NFL season. The whole, like, how many games is a team going to win? Man, it is a football season. You have no idea what's going to happen. 4 weeks in, Davis Alexander was on his way to becoming the MOP.
Yep.
And now he can't, like, the hamstrings become a problem. And now Montreal's in total disarray, losing to Cody Fajardo. Like, God help us. So you just don't know. And the moral to this story is, like, if anybody out there listening, watching, whatever, can devise a medical device that can cure hamstring issues, as a Vikings fan, I'd love to see Justin Jefferson out there this preseason. He's still hurt. I think a lot of people in Montreal right now would love to see their franchise quarterback, because when Cameron Dukes is getting signed,
getting phoned, let alone signed.
Oh,
getting
phoned. Right. Thank you, Sharky. Thank you. Well said.
Hey, what a Cam Dukes ever? He never said anything bad about you guys. All right, let's switch to baseball. The Jays win today, beat the Cubs 2-1. They're quietly doing their thing. First team to 70 wins. They're going along. Nobody's complaining about the front office. That's kind of nice. A couple other teams here that just keep clipping along. What is it about the LA Angels, the Anaheim Angels or whatever? Are they Dodger kryptonite? Man, do they seem to have the Dodgers number these days.
And Shohei Ohtani, driving into a triple play or whatever it was. Here's what's amazing about 162. Like, there's so many things in the nuance of a baseball season. Here we are, the middle of August. There's no end in sight. Talk about dog days. It's right about now in a baseball season. I don't know, guys, if you saw what's going on in Milwaukee. I think this is one of the greatest things to happen in sports. They have won 12 straight games. Well, what does that mean? Okay, yeah, they've won 12 in a row. But there is a local restaurant chain named George Webb that said if the Brewers ever win 12 in a row, the entire city gets burgers, gets free burgers. And last night, the Brewers win their 12th straight game, and Brendan Woodruff, a longtime Milwaukee pitcher who's been there through NLCSs, whatever, he said that's as much pressure as I faced in my career because the entire city is waiting on free burgers. Boom.
Do you think he bought insurance on that? Like, you know?
That reeks of the Office episode Michael Scott and Scott's Tots when he promises all the kids he's going to pay for their college tuition, and then next thing you know, that's how. But it's funny. So Milwaukee is one of the best teams in baseball, and they're not the highest payroll. They're not anything. Does Major League Baseball want the Milwaukee Brewers in the World Series? Let's be honest. I'm thinking no. Like you've got Dodgers, you've got Yankees, you've got Blue Jays, you've got all of that. Does Milwaukee? Come on.
I'll tell you. Major League Baseball would prefer the Milwaukee Brewers in the World Series than the Toronto Blue Jays. I'll tell you that much for sure.
Oh, well, that's a given.
Yeah.
That's a given.
I did an NLCS 1 year, 6-7 years ago, 7-8 years ago, and it was Brewers Dodgers, and it got to Game 7. And I'll never forget, Yasiel Puig hits this home run, and he's crossing second base, just, fist pumps all over. And I'm like, is that Yasiel Puig rounding second base with the fist pumps, or is that Rob Manfred happy that it's going to be the Dodgers, the LA market's going to be represented there, and not a bunch of Packer fans who like cheese?
It's good to have it spread around, though. It can't be the Dodgers and the Yankees every year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's good for a mix. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's up to the people that run baseball, though, Sharky, they prefer like the Mets and the Red Sox. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to get the Rockies and the Athletics. I'll tell you that.
Correct.
That's not going to happen.
It's like the NHL. If I'm Gary Bettman, who wears Skechers, and I like Skechers, Gary is never admitting on the record that he never wants to see the Winnipeg Jets in a Stanley Cup final. Privately, he may say, but sure, we'd love Winnipeg. No, you don't. So in the past 24 hours, everybody's algorithm on social media is new heights. Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, Taylor Swift blowing up the internet, blowing up YouTube. 10 million views in 16 hours. Arash, you've been in this business a long time. Viewers, clicks, likes, listens, and she just put on a master class over the past 36 hours of how to wreck social media. Wow.
Oh, man. Here's what I find amazing and awesome about this. Why there's hope for all of us. Okay? Travis and Jason Kelce are from a suburb in Ohio. They were college roommates with Zach Caleros, like three dummies playing N64 and ordering burrito bowls. And now Travis and Jason have signed a $100 million podcast deal, and Travis is dating the most famous woman in the world. Wow. Like, Travis was kicked off the team in university and was working in a call center, and things weren't going his way. And now look at old Travis Kelce.
You're saying there's a chance.
Oh, what? Like what happened to all that 1 in a million talk? Like, it went from Jim Carrey to Travis Kelce.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah.
Can you imagine him telling the other people in the call center, I'm going to win the Super Bowl and date Taylor Swift?
Or in that same apartment building when they were playing at Cincinnati in college. Like, wow.
Even if it doesn't last, and he's famous as well and has made money, marry her even for a couple of years, because you're not going to get it because there's going to be a prenup. You're not touching her money. But People Magazine will give you $100 million for your wedding photos. You'll get half of that. Do that to really cement it. You go 4 or 5 years, that's a good celebrity marriage, right? They kind of, in watching that podcast, it seems like they genuinely like each other. Although hey, listen, I thought that Joni and Chachi were going to work out too long-term on Happy Days. So I'm not the best judge of character when it comes to celebrity romance, but they actually seem like they like each other genuinely.
Here's okay. I know nothing of which you speak. I'll just be honest. But I will tell you this.
You know Joni and Chachi. You know Happy Days.
Yeah. Fortunate enough to cover the last few Super Bowls, talking to people around Kansas City and the organization. That dude is not caught up in celebrity when it comes to the season. Like, he spends a ton of time in the film room. He spends a ton of time on his body. He spends a ton of time on recovery. He goes to tight end university and like works with young guys on like every nuance of the position and the craft. So yeah, he's A-list because of his +1, not because of what he does on the field. And I think he knows that. But man, ball player too. First ballot, Canton.
Yep.